being so PC in America, the operators wouldn't say it because they thought it was really sort of degrading to women. So I couldn't be Fanny Beaver Snatchclit. Shame, really. Because I've always been a bit of a cunt. Later on in my life, when I was in Los Angeles, and I tried to commit suicide by taking sleeping tablets, throwing myself in the pool, getting out of there, and my grandmother, who's on her first trip to America, and said, well, I said, I'll be dead in 2 hours. She said, I suppose we better go home now, right?
I suppose we better get packed and go, she said.
You know, nothing faced, she was no bullshit with my grandmother.
How were you when that happened? What did you think?
It was the terrible, terrible time, those days where I wouldn't want to go through them again. It's an awful thing to see someone you love unhappy, and unhappy enough to want to do something like that. I mean, I couldn't get near you, could I, really? It was a different lifestyle. He'd got in with a different crowd of people. There were the drugs about, which he denied frantically, but I mean, you know, no, not daft. And I knew he was taking the drugs, but what can you do? I'd got no control over him, but it broke my heart to see him like it.
It was bad enough for you to move away, right?
It was. Yeah, I don't know. I'll you off a minute. I'm a bit tearful when I think about it.
Sorry, no.
No, I think you've got to talk about everything.
You've got to talk about everything. You can't just... This is the whole point of this thing.
You've got to go through it all, and it was just terrible, terrible times, and that was the time when we came out to the Rock of the Westies thing. Yeah. I didn't see him all the week. You probably don't remember. You was out of it until it was backstage before he went on stage, and I can remember coming back and your hands were just all split with playing the piano so hard, and you were putting, I can see you now, putting this stuff onto your skin. He looked terrible. I thought he was going to die. He looked terrible. It's awful. It's terrible, really, but it's so sad when I think about it now, even. And then Russell Harty took a film of it. You remember? And everybody said, we saw you crying, and I thought, they don't know why. They've got no idea why.
Did people not know what you were doing?
They thought she was crying with joy.
I thought I was crying with joy. I was so elated, but I was so worried. It was. They were terrible.
That was the start of it,
just
really.
The start of it.
There was another occasion when we were coming back from Watford or somewhere where I was drunk, he was in the car, and I said, pull over, I'm going to be sick.
And by this time I was getting to know him. I said, we'll be sick then. So I pulled over, he got out, and I got out, as I say, because I was wising up to him by now, and he walked over to the fence. I said, go on then, be sick. He sort of looked at me like this, and then took off down the road. And this is like about 2 o'clock in the morning. It was like, and I caught up with him obviously because he had these like 6-inch platforms on. It wasn't difficult. And you can see I was catching up with him, so he laid down in the middle of the road on the white line, saying, I want to die, I want to die. There wasn't even a hedgehog inside. Nothing.